If you've been developing a lot of confidence in your workout routine, congratulations. I appreciate the commitment that gets you there, and it's really great to feel like you can really execute your whole workout without a lot of trouble or struggle. But we know that we need to continue pushing our comfort level a little bit in order to keep making progress. So if you're wondering how to add a little bit of intensity and keep leveling up your workout, I've got 5 techniques that you can start with right away that don't require going and buying new equipment, and it doesn't require reinventing the whole wheel either. So first and foremost, we have to focus on form. So be sure with every exercise, before you worry about leveling up, be sure that you are thinking about where you want to feel the work, which muscles you're engaging. Make sure that when you're doing the exercise, you feel it in those places. And notice if there's anything you can do to go a little bit deeper and add a little intensity just through your form. So I'm going to use the squat as an example. But, if we're squatting here, ask yourself, am I feeling this in my quads? Am I feeling it in my glutes? Is there pain anywhere? Am I able to maintain that good posture? Maybe I can go a little lower. Maybe I can build strength through a larger range of motion. So that's kind of my number one, is to level up your form. And I'm absolutely here for you to help work through any little form nuances or tweaks that we can do to help you feel the work in all the right spots. So once we've got our form down, we're going to look at some other techniques for adding intensity. So number one, probably pretty obvious, you can add more reps. So if the rep count says 8, but at 8 you're just really not feeling it very intensely, feel free to add more reps. That's a great way to just continue building intensity and volume in your training. Second, also probably pretty obvious, is to add resistance. So if you have multiple sets of weights that you're using or multiple sets of bands, grab the heavier weights or bands and try and see how you do. That's pretty obvious. But we don't always have all the weights at our disposal. So I've got some hacks for you. First of all, hopefully you've got a mini band or 2 or 3, and hopefully you've got a dumbbell. So if you've got both of these things, you can have a lot of fun leveling up. So for example, I've just looped my band around my handle of my dumbbell. I'm just going to use a bent over row as an example. So now I've got the band underneath one foot. I'm holding the handle. I want to make sure I can stand up nice and tall. Find my hinged position. And now I'm pulling that weight against the resistance of the band along with the 10 pounds of my dumbbell. So I just made this dumbbell feel a lot heavier, and I have to work a lot harder to get into that full contraction. So that's one of my favorite hacks. You can also, let's just say, you're doing a squat, you can put the band around your legs, using that for resistance, plus your dumbbell or dumbbells. And again, focusing on the form. So as you add the intensity, as you add reps, make sure you can continue using your best possible form. With resistance bands, I've got one anchored over here. Okay, I've got this band here. It's pretty light. We'll continue working on just a row pattern. So pulling here, it's feeling pretty easy. Probably goes without saying, if you back up a little bit more, you get a little more resistance. Okay, but if you really want to add resistance and an extra core challenge, you can put both handles in one hand and row with one side. So now I have double resistance on one arm, and I'm asking my core to work. So of course, you just need to make sure you make time to do both sides, but that's a really great way to add resistance with your resistance band. Another great technique, you're doing all of these things and you still want to add a little bit more intensity. Start playing with tempos, pauses, and half reps. So what does that look like? Let's say you're doing your squats and you typically do 8 to 10 squats like this. Try slowing them way, 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 way down. And coming up nice and slow. And I always say it's sort of like a treasure hunt, looking for the spots where you're trying to hurry and rush, because those probably are the spots where you have a little bit of weakness. And so that would be a place to add a little pause or a little half rep. So let's say you get down to here and it feels like a little bit of like a rush, like you sort of drop. So you might want to come up halfway, down all the way, and then up all the way. Or pausing could be like 3, 2, 1, and then up. 3, 2, 1, and then up. And maybe adding a hold and a pause at the bottom and up. So those are kind of two techniques wrapped into one. First of all, just slowing down. Just slow down. That is going to magnify the intensity of every exercise. And then the other one is tempos, pauses, and half reps. Have a lot of fun with those. Finally, I'll keep my weight. You can continue to challenge yourself by playing with balance. So maybe you've been doing like bicep curls. I'll grab my other dumbbell for balance my upper body. So if you've been doing bicep curls like this, try doing your bicep curls on one leg, right? Or let's say you've been doing a goblet squat. Form is perfect, feeling really strong. Try pressing that weight out away from your center of gravity. And of course, again, with all of these, never sacrifice your form just to tackle the next challenge. So take every challenge on as long as you can execute with good form. Let me know how I can help. I hope this inspired you to continue leveling up your workouts throughout your routines this week.